Hey, what's good, y'all? It's your boy LJ in the building, back with another video. Today's video, we got Luka is getting angry, but the Mavericks don't care. So we're gonna get into a little basketball video for y'all. Trying to do more basketball vids.
While the Mavericks were supposed to take the next step, Luka Doncic isn't happy.
Sometimes I don't feel it's me, just being out there. I used to have really fun, smiling on court, but it's just been so frustrating.
Oh, this isn't good. In fact, he's angry and looks defeated. Not as defeated as the Mavericks were when they lost to the fourth worst team in the NBA, Hornets, in back-to-back games with former Maverick.
Yeah, man, I bet on this game right here, the Mavericks versus the Hornets. The only game I lost. I can't forgive them for that, but honestly, I don't even want to really see them in the playoffs because, what's the point? You feel me? It's just Luka and Kyrie out there with no defense. A few shooters here and there, but if they ain't hitting, what's the point? But I feel like, there's no point in them going to the playoffs.
Desmond Jr. talking his talk.
Boy, ain't no way, boy.
Luka's really good friend that the Mavericks got rid of, and while the Mavericks have seemingly become even worse after adding Kyrie, the issue goes much deeper than one trade. Yeah, the Mavericks are currently the 11th seed in the West, below 500, despite Luka averaging 33 points, 8.6 rebounds, and 8.1 assists. Luka would be the highest scoring player to miss the playoffs in NBA history. The Mavs started the season 28-26 before adding Kyrie. The trade kinda looked like a success at first. Kyrie led them to 3 straight wins while Luka sat out with a heel issue. But since those 3 wins, they've gone 6-13. They are a +4 with both Kyrie and Luka on the court, but the record is only 4-8 when both Kyrie and Luka play, including the crunch time hot potato loss to Minnesota that had all of us questioning whether it would work? What are y'all doing? They're 6th in offense, but an ugly 23rd on defense.
What happened?
There's a whole lot of my turn, your turn basketball with Kyrie just standing in the corner and role players going from aggressive and confident when Luka is out to ball watching and confusion. Luka is sad every postgame, and there's no positive energy on the court. And that's because Jason Kidd ain't figuring out shit. Instead of calling the Mavs dog shit, call yourself that first, man. Cause Luka and Kyrie haven't meshed on the court at all, and that's your job. And if you're liking the content, subscribe, because over 75% of you aren't. Trying to hit 1 mil in 2023 and just want to have important discussions with y'all, plus 2 important videos coming next week. Kyrie is looking even more miserable on the Mavs than he did on the Nets. I didn't even think that was possible.
Help me!
Now, Luka has said that there are things going outside of basketball.
What they should have did, should have kept Jalen Brunson. Honestly, I don't even know if the Porzingis trade was worth it. When they did play, they was just cooking a little bit in the playoffs. They just, Porzingis kept getting injured, so this tall dude getting hurt like that, what's the point? But they could have kept him for another year, I feel like. Brunson, Porzingis, and Luka, if Brunson would have broke out the way he did, that's a nice trio.
Sure, exactly what's going on, but at the minimum, we can easily see the frustration in the on-the-court activities. What about Luka realizing that the Bucks knew their play in the last possession of a 1-point game, and the coaching staff did nothing? Based on NBA coaches, they just had the worst offseason in the NBA. But what if I told you the issues started much earlier than that? Because we're really gonna expose the Mavericks and another player causing a lot of issues. What is up, dudes, dudettes, ballers, players? It's your boy MJ. Of course, the media started blaming Kyrie Irving like it's second nature at this point. Kendrick Perkins took Kyrie's comments out of context. Kyrie called the Western Conference playoff situation and the Mavericks position in it a cluster. But Perkins said, did Kyrie just call the Mavericks a cluster? No, he did not. But sure, get your takes off. When the trade was made, everyone had visions of LeBron and Kyrie 2.0, pick and rolling teams to death. Maybe because of the lack of familiarity and playing time together, the Mavs just don't run P&R that much, but when they do, it's devastating. They've run 37 pick and rolls between Luka and Kyrie, and in the 24 with Luka as a ball handler, they're scoring an absurd 1.625 points per possession. In the 13 with Kyrie as the ball handler, they've scored 1.5 points per possession. The pick and roll should be their bread and butter, but Jason Kidd would rather continue to run ISOs. Before this season, the Mavericks were ranked the the 8th best team in the NBA. Even without their all-star, the Mavericks added Christian Wood in the offseason, and paired with Luka, that was apparently supposed to be enough for the Mavericks. This lineup is supposed to go far? Jason Kidd in the beginning of the season said that they're going to be a bigger team. But how was that supposed to solve their biggest issue? This all relies heavily on Luka. Christian Wood is not necessarily a shot creator nor a low post-up dominating player, and Jason Kidd brought him off the bench. Makes sense. Again, putting a lot on Luka's shoulders. And I get it, you could say Luka is only 23 years old. The team hasn't had enough time to build around him. But Luka's been averaging 28 points since his second season. By 2020, Luka had already hit game winners in the playoffs and averaged a near triple-double. He's already a 4-time All-Star, which means the Mavericks have had 3 years to put a lineup around him and came up with this? Sure, we could mention Porzingis. Everyone was hyped for the Porzingis-Luka duo, but the Mavericks relegated him to a spot shooter in the lineup. Injuries played a huge part too, so we could also mention how the previous coach Rick Carlisle forced Dennis Smith Jr. and Luka into a competition with each other that just wasn't the right type of nurturing for either one, and made Luka pissed off at the coach. With this roster, the Mavs play at around a 500 record. Luka was forced into the highest usage rate of his career at 37.6 before the trade. The loss of Jalen Brunson in free agency allowed teams to focus and double team on Luka at any time, and with the lack of ball handlers, the Mavs became an isolation team, leading the league in isolation attempts. Dinwiddie was forced to be more of a playmaker, which sort of hurt their scoring, and they walked the ball up the court and played at the second slowest pace in the league. No freebies. They were last in transition opportunities, last in fast break points, last in rebound percentage, and last in scoring in the paint. You might think it's effort issues, but it's because the offense was solely based on Luka. Look at Dorian Finney-Smith, Reggie Bullock, even Maxi Kleber. These guys are hustling, fighting hard. But oh yeah, the Mavericks trade Dorian Finney-Smith, their best defender, right after Luka said he would want to finish his career.
Outside of Kyrie and Luka, like, you know, Hardaway's cool, but I've been seeing Mavs fans talking mess about Reggie Bullock. You know, he's not cutting it as late. I think he's been scoring a little bit, but Dwight Powell, don't know why he's still there. Like I said, Christian Wood, no defense. Kleber, I think he's pretty nice. Should play JaVale McGee a lot more. At least play him over Powell and whoever else they got on that team.
With them? So you trade a player that Luka really liked. Stop making Luka sad. Luka is literally putting up insane numbers, and I'm trying to use Luka and SoRare. Before a trade, the defense this season took a big step back from the year before, going from 7th to 24th. The Mavs rely on a fine balance of defense and shooting from wings like Reggie Bullock and Finney-Smith, but they still didn't have any rim protection. JaVale McGee has only played 38 games this season, on and off dealing with injury. Without DFS, now perimeter players are doing whatever they want. They're forced to go with an offensive heavy lineup, leaving them with no interior defense to keep up, no rim protection, no shot blocking. The Mavericks are wasting Doncic's prime like the Cavs did with LeBron in the 2000s.
I'm not surprised.
We are year 5 into Luka's career, and at this point in LeBron's career, it's literally when we all start to look at the Cavs front office like, what are you doing? So I'm doing the same with the Mavericks. What are you doing? Kyrie has not been the problem in Dallas. He's been nothing but a professional, a good teammate, and has even kept conspiracy theories and YouTube links to himself. On the court, he's been even better, averaging 26.3 points, 5.9 assists on 50, 39, and 94 splits. Dwight Powell should be a backup big man, but thanks to offering 3 years and a starting spot to JaVale McGee, Powell is forced to start, which I know is a love-hate relationship for all Mavs fans. Kleber, their best big man, has been hurt and rushed back from injury and hasn't been that good. This is why the trade made no sense. The roster is horrible. The Mavericks were compensating when they trade for Kyrie. They were trying to correct a mistake. Sure, their most recent mistake was Jalen Brunson. Thank you, by the way, that really helped us out. Now, Brunson is a borderline all-star level player, and his 4-year, $104 million contract seems like a steal for Knicks. But the Mavericks could have gotten him for $14 million a season in 2021. Yeah, but they want
But they
flexibility to have cap space and sign new people. But what people did they sign? Spencer Dinwiddie?
What?
But that's not even their only mistake. The Mavericks have a history of failing to build teams. Players also don't want to come to Dallas, where it's letting Tyson Chandler walk in 2011 after winning a championship, not signing prime Darren Williams, not signing prime Dwight Howard, the DeAndre Jordan fiasco when the Clippers held him hostage with a chair,
Put your hands up. No. I've got a chair. Okay.
trading for Rondo in 2014 and
free
him
agency
quitting
signing
mid-game
kinda
in the
questionable.
playoffs.
Going on here to start this game. Another.
So yeah, the Mavericks are stuck. With their taxpayer mid-level exemption in this year's free agency, you would think, okay, they need a ball handler to replace Jalen Brunson, they didn't get Goran Dragic, so who are they gonna get? They added Shaq Fu legend, JaVale McGee. McGee signed a 3-year, $17 million deal to be the starting center? Starting?
I am perplexed.
The Mavs' issues are less about Kyrie and more about what they gave away to get him. On top of what was already a thin roster, they took a Western Conference Finals team and turned their second, third, and fourth best players into Kyrie Irving in a free agency year. It was a desperation move that was more about pleasing Luka in the short term than about winning, but they're not even doing that. Kyrie's contract ends this season, and he's never once stated that he would re-sign. And even if he did, history in Boston might tell us something different. In
trust that, man.
fact,
He's
Kyrie has been one of the most unpredictable players in NBA history. Kyrie recently said that this trade was for the long term and that they can't be a championship team overnight. And while I agree with the latter, this trade was a gamble, hoping the Mavericks would go far enough this season, but relied on Jason Kidd's ability to design an offense very quickly. However, even before this trade, Kidd has been unable to do that in his entire coaching career. In his time with the Bucks, while he helped with Giannis' ability to handle the ball and become more of a point forward, the Bucks offense as a whole was still pretty stagnant. In fact, all of his teams have ranked 28th on average in rebounding in his 5 years as a head coach before the Mavericks. But other coaches have also praised Jason Kidd and his ability to work with unique talents, so there is a bit of a mixed bag. But even with this, Jason Kidd never had Luka's attention. Remember when Luka got out of shape? No, like really out of shape last season?
It's like, what the hell?
Jason Kidd tried to tell Luka to lose weight, but he said that it goes in one ear and out the other. But when Reggie Miller called Luka out on it, Luka acknowledged it, lost a lot of weight, and told Miller understood. Kidd thanked Reggie, but why was no one able to get through Luka? This isn't to say that Luka isn't at fault. Like I've said before, if you're the best player on your team, you have a choice on being a leader, especially if there's no other voice in the locker room. But complaining constantly, looking dejected, all of that is going to trickle down to your other teammates. You're the leader and your body language matters. Luka Doncic's contract is signed through 2026. Technically, the Mavericks have a lot more time to keep making more and more mistakes. But with how stars and Ben Simmons have set precedent, trade requests happen even with 4 years left on a contract. Teams don't have to oblige, but with how much the Mavericks depend on Luka, if he's not happy, this team is going nowhere. The Mavericks landed a superstar, a generational talent, and don't know what to do. They have made mistake after mistake and are unable to do anything. And at this point, Luka is just done. The all-day notification on shout goes to Easy Hoops. Thanks for the all-day support. If you want to know why no one likes this one player, there's a video right here.
Yeah, if I was Luka, bro, I would be getting angry too, because it's like, what is y'all doing in the front office? Like, y'all just dude 24 and hasn't made it past they made the conference finals, but they're not making it this year. They're probably not even making play-in. So, in my opinion, try and bring Kyrie back. He come back next year, fill out the free agents, some decent defenders. Get rid of Christian Wood, bro. Get rid of him. Other than that, fix all that. They should be straight. But that's going to do it for today's video, y'all. We're going to get back to y'all in the next video soon. Y'all stay tuned. Until then, LJ out, y'all.
Hey, Slayer, sauce it up.